Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Shogun 2 Fall of the Samurai with the Scramble for the Far East mod. Last time around, we took the Eastern Gang City, and we also had a field battle out here, roughly by the farms. In between episodes, I've gone ahead and taken the North Gang City. I've also landed a third army, which is going to march along the coast, and going to go for the Western Gang City. Currently, we're actually marching straight ahead, and we're going to hit this crossroads here, very important. It's important enough that it's got a sizable force set within its walls, and not only that, the faction leader is in control of the army inside. With that said, we're going to start off by marching our army to meet this enemy. We're gonna siege him. I was actually hoping that it marched out to face me, and I was actually also trying to set it up so it could be a drop-in battle where I would play against a human player. So we would play on the I would be playing against another human. However, we tried it different ways, but it didn't work. We tried the way where I would just go ahead and start searching for people to drop in, and he would start searching on his end, and that didn't really work. So we tried through Steam as well, and that brought up an error. So unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. There's still a possibility of in the future doing some sort of co-op campaign or a head-to-head campaign. I could definitely see how you could play as one could play as the Americans, one could play as the Prussians, and you could go for a head-to-head campaign up in the north of Japan. With that said, we've gone ahead and laid the siege right here. This army has landed. It took a little bit of winter attrition, as we're just 1 month into spring. He's going to be marching up to Western Gang, of course. In terms of the bigger political situation, we note here that the Americans and the Prussians are eating everything up. They've reached the middle, sort of ish, of Japan. At the same time, the Dutch have actually kicked into gear and captured a province in a very long time. But the Americans and the Prussians, they're just taking everything. And the fact that they're allied with each other makes it even worse. Now, originally my plan was to take on the Prussians because they are the bigger faction, or they were the bigger faction. Let's see, 17 versus 9. Yeah, they've still got more provinces than the Americans. However, I realized with the victory conditions of the campaign, it's actually to hold Musashi. I didn't look too closely, and I haven't played Shogun in quite a while, so I thought, oh, Musashi, it must be the Emperor's seat in Kyoto. But that's Yamashiro. So Kyoto's right here. And that's the Yamashiro province. Musashi is the Tokyo province, and the seat of the Shogun, which is over here. Although in this time period, I don't believe it's actually called Tokyo. It's something else. But in the modern sense, I believe this is where Tokyo is. Compared to the Emperor's seat, which is Kyoto, which we just ran past. With that said, let's go ahead and end turn, see if the faction leader wants to sally forth and fight us, or if he's gonna let his army starve, and then on the last turn go ahead and attack us. Oh, they even have a matchlock unit. But most of it's all traditional troops. Yet another faction has fallen to the onslaught of the Prussians and the Americans. A daughter is born. The extended family is actually getting quite large, if you see here. The faction leader, he's got 4 children. He's got 2 sons and 2 daughters. And similarly, the faction heir has got 2 sons and 2 daughters. So quite a big family. This is still too young. He's only 3 years old as of yet. It's very unlikely that he'll actually come of age in this campaign, given a year takes... I think there's 6 turns in each season, meaning that it's what, 24 turns in a year, which means that I believe they come of age when they're 15, I want to say, or maybe 16 in Shogun, I think. So that will be quite a few turns. I can't do the math right now in my head, but that's a lot of turns. Given 24 turns, if I'm correct, is a year. Right, we're gonna march this army up along the coast, as it's very unlikely that they're gonna sally forth. If they didn't sally forth in the first go, they're probably gonna wait until the very end to actually sally forth out of the castle, where they're all tired and weak from starvation, having stayed there for the entire spring, it's gonna be, before they sally forth. So I think I'll skip to that point. There was an assassin here, but I seem to have lost him. I could go ahead. We'll just run around, kind of spy and figure out what's going on. Also, one thing is, I want to get the foreign advisors, which you get from the military ports. But I think since I can't actually recruit anyone here, I need to build a barrack here. So we should build up a city or a bigger town, so I can build a barrack so I can recruit these foreign advisors, so we can have increased, because they train the army, so they gain more chevrons, which is really good, and also they train them in other stuff. As they progress, they'll add on a lot of good trains to the armies they're embedded to, so they're really good, and I really want some. With that said, I'll see you guys when we're actually ready to draw to battle. The King of Korea has finally taken to his senses and is ready to attack us. However, of course, his force has lost quite a few men, as we see by starvation, and possibly also by desertion. They're ready anyways to come out and meet us. We deploy about 4,500 men, while they deploy 3,000. The thing though is, I deploy only half my force in the beginning, so they have an advantage of 1,000 men to start off with, in case they were to charge down and destroy my army before I was able to bring in the reinforcement troops. Bad weather, rain, that will make misfires a certainty. I have gone ahead and actually been given hills to deploy on, which is great. That's wonderful. So I've got quite a few hills. We got 3, and I hope to occupy all 3 of them. This, of course, is going to be the main hill, where I've got the main force. So we're going to put 2 Jaegers and 4 infantry. It's going to be stationed on the front here. Then on the hill to the right here, I'm going to deploy these 2 units of grenadiers. Over here, we're going to deploy the artillery down about here somewhere. And then up behind them, I'm going to have the marines kind of deployed a little bit higher up here. And hopefully that will work out. With that said, I should actually set up so I move the artillery first. With that said, let's go ahead and start.
We are ready to defend, sir!
Hopefully the weather won't affect us too much. Light troops to the front. I think to protect the artillery, I'm going to move one of the infantry units closer to there. And then we have the other there. And then the grenadiers up on the hill. Ooh, loads of mortar shots landing among the enemy. Don't seem to kill that many. 1 in that unit, a few in this. General to the front. And the troops have started firing. As we start here, let's make sure that everyone's toggling stand ground mode. So we have the Cossacks. It's gonna move on a wide flank. The general will join the other general. I doubt that we'll get the artilleries in position. We'll just move them forward a little bit. And then... let's see, the 2 units of Jaeger will be advancing. And then all these units of infantry will start off just sending them kind of in column towards the others. The enemy army is actually deploying that way. Okay, I'm gonna move the artillery a little bit forward. We're gonna chase the enemy a little bit with the what's it called? The Marines. Go ahead and deploy. As this unit's closing in, go to volley or go to canister shot. The enemy has that 9-pounder down there, but we also have a unit of levy. I think we can just charge the bowmen. I won't have time to micromanage that. They're really focusing their fire or their attack over here. And for some reason these units... oh, I didn't move them. I didn't move them into a position where they could fire back at the enemy troops. The enemy were destroyed over here though, which is great. This artillery has been outmaneuvered by the enemy. I need to bring these troops up.
Your general is under attack.
I'm gonna move to the back side a little bit. And then I'm gonna use the new ability I unlocked for the general, which is the stand and fight ability. They're completely trying to surround us here. We'll make sure that these guys stand and fight to the very end. And then I need to rush a few troops here to aid. Set up the general back there. So we got my general in a stand the ground formation while the troops are fighting off tons of Koreans moving up the hill. The enemy was killed off back there. Let's move up behind the enemy.
Close, sir.
This unit's suffering quite heavily, which kind of want to support them. Why aren't you firing? Or what are you guys doing? The enemy is like right in front of you guys. Come on, they're charging. Why haven't you fired? Oh, there, right when they charged in. They might actually be able to break them like that. And they did. Oh, the faction general, or the king. The king of Korea. I think that's the king right there. Possibly. Unless he's over here somewhere. Oh, this grenadier unit was destroyed, unfortunately. Our support units aren't doing that much, which I don't like. We need to protect the general, so we're gonna make a square around him. Oh, are these guys? Oh, they can't form square right now because the enemy general is attacking them. At the same time, down here, the enemy is charging. Stand ground. Am I able to form square here yet? No, but I am protecting my general. This guy right here could very well be the enemy faction general. I'm pretty sure it is, given by what he looks like. And he was just cut down, so maybe it wasn't him. They're retreating, their entire army has been defeated. Let's go ahead and charge them down with the Cossacks and then shoot the rest down. So it really came down to the fighting around this hill right here, where I think this unit probably got absolutely destroyed. I didn't know that the enemy would kill them that badly. I thought we had a pretty good chance of holding that, but yeah, I forgot about actually checking how they were doing. And then a little bit of a mistake here with the troops not really being able to fire back and so on. I thought the enemy was going to just march straight up, but they really focused on this hill right here. And then the reinforcement that came in here. Not like a super tough battle. I thought it would be a little bit harder since there was so many more enemies than there usually is. But then again, I had a really strong position with a high hill and so on. And I mean, Korea has gone from, you know, defeat after defeat after defeat, while my army is gaining chevron and so on, gaining strength. So maybe it wasn't that much of a surprise that we were able to win here, given what we had learned from previous battles and so on. With that said, let's go back to the campaign map. Here's the result of the battle. It looks like the unit actually survived. It's still listed here, although only 14 men got away. Seems like they soaked up all the casualties that I received from that army. When we look at it, there's still about 1,000 men, but I think the faction general did die in the battle, even though we did not get a notification of it. We only lost 656 compared to the enemy which lost 2,400. Reinforcement army suffered some casualties, Cossacks quite a bit. Highest kills, probably Cossacks because they rode down enemies, but otherwise it's an infantry unit and not the Grenadiers. I thought the Grenadiers would do better, but I think the micromanagement there was a bit of a problem. I had moved them too far back on the hill. Had I moved them up to the front, they would be able to shoot down at the enemy approaching. And there probably would be more than 14 of them left at that point. And yes, that was the statistics. We also captured a god-awful medieval cannon. The siege continues. Although, given the troops that are left inside the castle, I'm pretty sure this is a quite easy auto-assault. Yes. I want to just check. Maybe I should put someone else in charge, so that they get more experience. Doesn't really matter. Like, it wasn't like I was going to push any one of these over the edge. So we lost none in that siege, killing all the 768 defenders. Province captured. And here's the construction report. We must have killed the general there, even though it didn't say we're not the general. The faction leader must have been killed there. I've got a barracks here. Not entirely sure if I want the barracks here. It's not close to a railway line or anything. It might give... It doesn't give more replenishment in the region. We're gonna tear that down and build this towards something else. Blacksmith, ironworks. Minus cost to all ships in this province and minus repair cost. Building repair cost. That's pretty shit compared to how good the blacksmith normally is. Like, the blacksmith is normally like a really good building, like when you start down in the Shimatsu territory. Here it only provides... I mean, it's not even on the coast, so half of what it's good for, it doesn't even apply. so I'm not entirely sure why I would want to even build that up. At the same time, we're just within reach of the western gang town. There's 3 generals. Young Suk, Jinshin, in Yu Shun. Got light mortars, archers and so forth. Quite a bit of modern troops. Could be more of a fight. Could do drop-in battle if that actually worked, but it doesn't. I wonder, they might attack out. Otherwise, I think we'll continue forward and take as much as possible. We probably can fit one more battle, but then I think we're pretty much done with the Koreans, and we need to focus upon definitely building more armies, as I now have 8,000 per turn. And we also need to figure out how to stem the tide of the Prussians and the Americans. They're both now at 19, so the Americans have gained in, and they've definitely gained in by capturing a lot of here in the central of Japan. I think in a war in between the Prussians and the Americans, I'm not sure who would win. I could see the Americans definitely cutting off the front here, but since the American provinces back here are quite thin, it would be really good if these two would fight each other, and then I could come in and mop it up. Fighting both of these at the same time would be horrendous. That's also why I don't really like the fact that Great Britain and France got taken out so soon. They could have definitely been a counterpole to this. I don't know about the Dutch. The Dutch have kicked in a little bit now. They've taken some provinces, but I don't see them standing up to either of these. And at this point, I mean, invading Japan would really only go for attacking either the Prussians or the Americans. Taking anyone else would just weaken the entire situation and aid those two. But that's what I think right now anyways. We'll see about the enemy attacking out from over here. With that said, let's go ahead and end turn. The Koreans don't really seem to learn. Young Suk is now going to attack out after suffering heavily from sitting within the fort walls. I don't know why they haven't switched tactic to actually go out and attack us, as we are content with sitting there. And well, this one is actually this one's a little bit different. Young Suk is actually awaiting reinforcement troops from up here. They've been gathering quite the force. However, I distracted them by having one of my TikTok dancers, you know, do some funny dances for them. So they stayed up there for a quarter of a year, not being able to relieve Young Suk, unfortunately. With that said, he's going to go out in attack, and yeah, let's go ahead and fight the battle. Once again, I get to deploy on this wonderful hill. Let's go ahead and take a look at my battle plan. What I've done is I've split it into 3 forces. On either side, we have 3 units of infantry with a unit of Pavlovsky guards to back them up. And they provide, not only is it a good backup because it's a great fighting unit, but they actually have this enchanted circle around them, so they spread morale boost around there. So these will be moving flanks, while the center will be held by the Jaegers, move up, and then 4 infantry units. I'll moving up the cannons on the side here. I've noticed, the reason why I'm not going to put them on the hill is I've noticed that once the fighting gets close, I've had a problem with the guns elevating high to fire at the castles. It goes the other way as well. When you try to elevate low, you can't. So it kind of fails in both aspects there. With that said, let's go ahead and start the battle.
Prepare to defend, sir.
And then we'll get the Jaegers to the front, followed by the line infantry. Then we'll have on a flank these with the grenadiers behind. Tell them to hold fire. Similarly over here, they're firing on the grenadiers with their bloody mortars. They're slow on the advance. I kind of notice here that some units will end up a bit all over the place. What we'll do is we'll split it. Actually, what we'll do is we'll do this. And then one of these will hold the forest. As the general moves forward. We'll have to move the cannons a little bit more forward, as they're currently a bit bugged out. The Jaegers have opened fire. Continuously firing on my bloody grenadiers, which I don't like. We'll soon be ready to set up here in the flank though. I think I can set up the grenadiers on a high hill beyond, so they can fire overhead. Ooh, here's shots coming close to my cannons.
Their general has fallen!
Oh, the general has fallen? Already? Oh, no surprise, he's riding in the front more. Ron. Let's go ahead and switch to canister. I know the canister fire at will. But first I want to fire my own shot at this general riding right in front. Oh, they're I don't think we have time to set up here. I'm not sure. Let's take a look at the lines. The lines are holding. The Jaegers, I might actually tell them to retire. Pull back. Ooh, just a volley just as the enemy charged in. This unit's not doing too hot. We'll move the guards over there. Why aren't you firing? We'll replace this unit with the guard unit. There goes another general. And now the guards firing from overhead. These guys almost got crushed. I think just because the guards were here to support, that's what kind of made the line hold here. They were down to 84 men.
Triumphed over the enemy.
84 men. You are free to fire at whatever target you want. Let's go ahead and actually fire a round shot and see if we can't hit the light mortar. Problem here, of course, is I cannot ride down the enemy. Now it's kind of a moved more to a little bit of a slugfest. Let's move the light infantry to the front again. Oh, the Pavlovsky Guard is not doing too hot. They've lost 50 men, and the morale is not looking good. I'll move the general over there. The enemy is wavering though. In the end, the Pavlovsky Guard held, but it kind of looked bad there for a while. The entire enemy army is now retreating. I'm gonna order a general advance of all troops quickly as possible to go ahead and just kill everything. That was not my intention to group them. I was intending to switch to melee mode for them. Drop this. Melee here. And then advance. So we have a general advance of our troops. And should tell my cannons to hold fire here. So it looks like this is going to be the case for the rest of Korea. There might be a little bit of more of a battle at the last one because they're gathering up a big force again. And it looks like they're not going to sit in the castle, but they're going to actually move out to fight us. Hopefully I'll be able to chase down some of these. So we can actually capture this area. Which would be very nice because it has coal. And if I am able to take the coal, that will be quite the boon to the economy. It's a decisive battle. I lost 500 men out of the 3,000 I deployed. The enemy lost 1,700 out of their 2,600, leaving about 1,000 men left in the castle. Highest kills goes to the Jaegers. Since I didn't have any cavalry to chase down the enemy, I sent in the Jaegers. So they were able to chase down and kill quite a few enemies. As it was the last turn the enemy were to hold out in Western Gangtown, they were forced to surrender and we capture it. Our assassin has been detected and mission successful, which gives us Lord of War, 1+ morale to all land units for 12 turns. And Boris gains a star. So we can see that they're gathering up quite the force, actually marching down to attack us over there. I want to check what's going on. Oh, they're gathering quite the troops now. But it's a little bit too little now. It's a little too late as well. We'll be able to hold up here. Will be nice with this coal mine. We can build a great port here as well. Burn some of these buildings and stuff. I'll most likely be able to take this town as well. Let's see, can I out-resolve it right now? Still a little bit dangerous, I think. But that's definitely gonna fall until next time. And with that said, someone pointed out that I say that quite a lot. So now I'm painfully aware of every time I say it. So I'm trying to think of things to switch it up, but I still said it like 4 times in this episode, so that phrase is not going anywhere, it seems. And I was about to say it again. With that said, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. With that said, that was the episode, and as always, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.
엄마 젖이나
Victory is assured, sir! Your men have killed their general, sir! You have triumphed over the enemy!